remix with 3 fish on day 2. 3 fish for the South Carolina Outcast. You want to see progression, Petey. You don't want to start off strong and then start waiting. You want to build, because that means you might have found something. You might have figured something out.
It is so tough to hold a lead. When you start out in the lead, you try to hold that for 3 days. We've done it. Not very often, but we've done it. It is tough. It is like your heart hurts, throughout the entire thing because you're so stressed.
And no matter what sport you play, it's always hard to hold on to that lead. Let's talk to a man who knows a thing or two about success. I like how I transitioned to them.
Yeah.
Rudy Tamarchio, looking very good down there in Key West, as always. But the key to success, and we're going to hear his Remax key to success in a moment. For some of the teams, a little tougher than others, Rudy, some mechanical issues with teams, even in this third and final day.
Yeah, it's tough sledding out there for some of these guys. I like how you put that for success. Just for success with some new championship Sunday blue. But breaking this morning that happened, we got reports from Captain Blaine Birch, the New Jersey Seabirds. They were sitting in second place to start this day. They lost steering while they were out there. That means for a moment, you had both number 1 and number 2 of the Atlantic Division, Lights Out Boston and New Jersey Seabirds, both without steering out there. So they were trying to diagnose what was happening. They're running off their throttles right now to position the boat, so it's probably going to be pretty tough for them. Meanwhile, Lights Out, the leaders in the Atlantic, I got more breaking news for you. We saw Rob Carmichael down in the cockpit. If he's there, he's clearly not piloting the boat. So who could be piloting that boat for Lights Out? It's an obvious answer. We got confirmation this morning. Peter, it's an old buddy of yours. He's the legend that's on board that boat, Ray Rocher himself. I think you guys combined for a couple of World Sailfish Championships right down here in Key West yourselves.
Man, you got it right, and that definitely is, that's Ray Rocher at the helm. I could hear him speaking through the on the headsets, and I heard him say, hey, he bit you on the way out, you were thumbing it, and he bit you, and then you let it drop, and he bit you again. That's the one you caught, and I heard his calm voice kind of letting him know what had happened, and that was for Rusty. But yeah, when you've got a team like that in the pit, and you've got a captain like that in the tower, and someone's watching the sonar, and you've got all eyes, on deck looking in every direction, ready to cast. They are so nimble. These guys run up to the bow, cast, get a fish on, run back to the back. I mean, honestly, I have a little trouble these days doing it as fast as they can. I'll try. I'm never going to quit. But, it's interesting, Rudy, as I watch you there, I think to myself, man, you are so lucky to be there, but we love being here. So let me ask you a question. Who do you think is going to rise to the top? As you see all these boats leave this morning, and we've got about 41 sails caught thus far, do you feel like it's going to be Atlantic or a Gulf thing?
Man, look, if you go historically, the way that these two divisions have gone against each other, anytime, that's not exhibition. So we're not talking about the catch, we're not talking about all-star, but really like regular season and postseason competition, it's every time it's been the Gulf. We saw it at Zangway this past season, 1 and 2 were Texas Lone Stars and Third Coast Renegades. The way things are shaping out right now and the way things have gone in the past, pretty much like 48 hours,
I had to ask Rudy about a mechanical issue, and we're having a little technical difficulties there with Rudy. And he was getting ready to answer it, too. Was he going to say Atlantic or Gulf or what?
He was every time. I think we scared him off, Robbie.
Yeah.
We scared him off. He didn't want to commit, didn't want to offend anybody. When they come back to dock, we don't have to see them in person. We could sit far away from them and discuss it.
We're going to move from a constant that we'll see throughout the year to a new constant we'll see each and every stop. I believe Chloe Turner with our Bright Wild conditions report, because this is very important. It changes from day to day to day.
Thanks, Robbie. It's another beautiful day in Key West with partly cloudy skies and temperatures climbing from the upper 70s into the low 80s. In sail fishing, it all starts with the wind. That 15 to 25 knot range is where these teams can really get those kites working. If the wind drops, teams will switch over to helium balloons to keep those baits up on the water, just like we saw yesterday. So let's see what's in store for this final day of the tournament. Now, as we look at our live wind map closer to Key West, we're seeing lighter winds generally ranging from about the 3 to 8 knots. So that is way below the ideal window for kite fishing. And early this morning, I spoke with Rudy, and he said that this is the calmest day yet offshore. And Sarah, our official Gulf coordinator, said it looks like these angling clubs are sticking with the same strategies as yesterday, using those helium balloons to keep that bait up. Now, as we move more towards Sand Keys, the winds are set to stay around a steady 8 knots throughout the day. So although there might be a slight advantage to going offshore, it looks like these teams are set to fully rely on helium for Championship Sunday. Now, as we move on to another important element for our captains to look at, tide is another major factor that these teams are going to be watching closely. So we saw a high tide at 11:22 this morning at just over 2 feet, and we're anticipating a low tide at 6:20 this evening, dropping below zero. With it being the final day of the Key West Classic, it'll be interesting to see which teams can hold their position at the top of the leaderboard and which ones are going to start to slide as these conditions continue to shift. Back to you, Robbie.
Thanks a lot, Chloe. And I do believe we have got our communication back with Rudy Tamarcho, who's live down in Key West. Rudy, going to hit you up one more time. I know we didn't get to hear the back end of your answer, Peter's question. What you got?
Yeah, the beauty of live television right here. You know, sometimes a rooster comes by, messes your mic, and we just got to take care of it. I was saying it looks like right now the Atlantic is going to take it this time. So between either Lights Out Boston or honestly East Coast Remix is surging. So I'm thinking the Atlantic's going to finally take one of these cross-division competitions.
Well, I'm glad we got you back for that. It's good to know. We wanted to hear an answer from you.
He threw 2 names out there, Peter. Thanks a lot, Rudy. We'll check in with you later on ESPN Plus. He threw out 2 names out there. I'm going to throw another one in there. Last year's winner in Fort Lauderdale, South Carolina Outcast, another Atlantic team that is going to be one to watch today. And we'll talk about why, because the guys are out there fishing, the girls are out there fishing, whether it be Atlantic or Gulf. Hit us up on YouTube. Let us know who your favorite team is. Ask us some questions. We're here all day long ready to answer your questions.
Nice watch. Citizen?
Yeah, Eco Drive. It's powered by light.
Like any light?
Yep.
Headlights?
Yeah.
Sunlight?
Yeah.
What about city lights?
Definitely.
Subway? Neon? Strobe light?
Those two.
Really?
Yeah.
Disco? Underwater?
Yeah.
This light? Spotlight? 10,000 spotlight!
Yeah, any light.
Cool.
Citizen Eco Drive. It is cool. Powered by light for 50 years.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Bill.
Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, day 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
The Key West Classic is presented by Salty Dogs, Citizen, official timing partner of SFC, Hook, official jersey and performance apparel partner of SFC, and by Porosos. Loving me some vodka. I'm going to have a little sippy sip after this Key West Classic presented by Salty Dogs is done today. Great conditions, calm conditions. Those kites are definitely out. And that makes us make that move over to the big board. Peter Miller and our Remax Keys to Success.
Well, here I am over at the big board. Thanks, Robbie. The keys to success. You know, when there's tough fishing, you've got to reinvent yourself. You know all the methods. You're kite fishing, you're pitching to moving fish, you're looking up in the sand, maybe you're trolling for marlin, but fishing next to structure. I call them the groundskeepers. You go to fish on a wreck. those are where you're going to find bait, and those are fish we call the groundskeepers because they kind of live there. They know they can go eat there, they'll go off, but they'll come back. So they're always good for a fish or two throughout the tournament each day. You get there early, you may catch one. And then next, we've got sight fishing, cruising up and down the edge. When you have tough conditions, again, you can't just sit in one spot and just hope that they come to you. You've got to be actively looking and pursuing any little splash. If you see a flying fish get up in the air and it just hovers and it flies and it lands, that's generally the sign of a sailfish that's chasing it. Sailfish cannot catch flying fish. Mahi, kingfish, everything else can catch them. Tunas, but the sailfish can't. Their bill gets in the way. So if you see a little puff, that could be a sailfish. You see a giant spray, it's probably not the right species. So that's a good thing to do. Shallow, you can go a little deeper as well. Next, you have the sonar sounders. You want to find fish or find bait. So with the sonars, obviously, as you're looking, you have your sonar on and you can actually mark fish and then you can cast to those fish or deploy baits in that area if you see something that's worth fishing to. And then lastly, you want to find the bait on your fish finder. When you're looking at your transducer and the image that shows up on your Garmin, you need to see big schools of bait. And if you do see them, you can drop down a strip teaser right down in the middle of it, bring it back up, drop it down, bring it back up, and have baits. Maybe a rubber core, a little 1 ounce lead, 2 ounce lead, right in the middle of it. You'd be surprised. You may just get a fish.
Thanks a lot, Petey. A lot of things to look forward to. And when you look at the Atlantic Division, the Gulf Division, it's kind of been a little bit of difference between day one and day two. Day one, the Gulf did better than the Atlantic by a single fish, 8-7. But look on day two. I mean, that's putting the pedal to the metal. The Atlantic with 15 and the Gulf only with 5. So that's why you're seeing Lights Out Boston, East Coast Remix, South Carolina Outcast starting to make their way up that leaderboard. They were getting it done. But again, looking at the Gulf Division out there, is anybody hooked up? We're seeing some movement in the upper left. Look how calm it is on most of the other pictures, Peter. So,
we got there, Robbie. That's a condition where it's almost difficult to fly the helium with a kite. So sometimes you're going to have to bump it in and out of gear just to keep everything going. So you'll see a little bit of kite fishing. Hopefully you've got fresh helium. The balloons are sometimes porous. Rocher, the R&R balloons are not, so they will hold the air. Now we're at the Atlantic Division in our 6-7 box there. You got the Seabirds there at the top of your screen. You got Remix and the Renegades. Yeah, there's a lot of activity there.
Yeah, and then the thing is how they move through. When we talk about the East Coast Remix, you see them sitting in second, where they were sitting in third coming in today because they were at a loss on the time mark. But watch what happens here. This fish would actually put them in a tie for the lead this morning. Again, lines in the water at 8 o'clock.
And you see spinners. You got a, looks like, I'm not sure who there's in the foreground here, but we've got spinners and we got conventionals. We got a little combo.
To his left, what's he touching? What's he
Turn
feeling?
up these bellies.
He's got an electric kite, electric reel, bringing in a dredge probably, or potentially bringing in a helium balloon because they do have kite baits out, but they definitely have spinners out as well. Called flat lines.
You saw Sarah with a rod in her hand as well, several lines out.
That's right. She's just taking, you heard her say, the fish is starting to swim away, and it's on. It's a done deal. When they come up jumping, there's nothing you can do. You have to wind tight. Sometimes you're dropping back, and they start jumping, there's no drop back. You lock it up right away, and you go on that fish. Sarah is no stranger, probably having caught over 1,000 billfish in her career.
Going to move ahead in the catch just a little bit. She was hooked up and still hooked up here. But again, that was this morning, a couple of hours into the tournament. You could hear her yesterday at the end of the day saying, see, I told you guys, I told you when they made that big move up near the top.
I told you because it was in the sargassum, it was in the weed. And she said, if we fish along that weed line, we're going to get them. And she started yelling that. So you see that fish was the bite on the kite. So we talk about techniques. And some days the kite will outproduce the spinners, or you can't see any fish. You have no signs of free jumpers. You don't have any signs of flying fish getting up. There's nothing in the sand. So you got to just keep reinventing yourself along the way. You cannot stick with one method because you just won't get there. And look, right now, I think they have about 6 fish, if I'm not mistaken.
Again, this fish this morning, when they came into the day, they were sitting 300 points. Lights Out Boston had 375, so this would put them on that mark. Now, in essence, put them in second place because they were tied, but they caught that fish later. But that is what you want. Give me that chance to hit that next fish, then I would be the leader.
And you just heard her, she's coming up, it's coming up. Usually you feel a little head shake, and they start scoping up, and she's, that cork is not at the tip, it's just sliding down the main line right there, so that not to be mistaken for like, oh, she's got the release. So you could see her gingerly winding, pulling up and winding down nice and easy. No panic, they're not going back hard because the fish isn't up. When the fish is up in the water column or jumping, they race back and they'll get that leader. But right now the fish is a little too low in the column to be racing back, but she did say, I think he's coming up and he's rising up, and that's when they throttle it back, turbos kick in, and you'll hear them spin up and whine, and they'll get down there. I've said a lot of words, whine, winding, whining.
They're actually on the boat that they're going to be fishing with throughout the year, the 62-foot Viking, the main stage. JC Clear, Sarah's husband.
What a team. All the teams out there are just top notch, but this team right here has been doing it so long. I mean, I still remember the day I met JC. We were doing a raft tournament. They were giving out tractor inner tube tires at Miami Beach Marina, and we had to make a raft with rod holders around it, and we had to catch fish out of a raft. And that's the first time I met him. That was a long time ago.
Other studs on board, George Corzo, Kenny Hernandez. We saw Amar catch a fish on day one.
We saw Raheem yesterday.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert, formerly of the Miami Dolphins and the Raiders. Ryan Alexander, Nick Carullo was on board this weekend as well.
I mean, to have Jason, look, here we go. There's the point pressure 75 right there. Good job.
Yeah, we identified that fish early. Nice clean catch.
Woo! Let's go!
She's pumped, and that shows you how they moved up. Again, only one fish on day one, but they get 3 on day 2 and already a catch here on day 3. There's your points. We're looking for an overall winner, but right now they are scored separately. We'll see the Gulf on the other side of the break, what they're doing right now. The leader, Third Coast Renegades, they've been holding on since day number 1, looking for that first fish.
Welcome to Blue Marlin Jewelry, where island elegance meets handcrafted luxury now in the heart of Key West. Since 1996, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We've been a destination for those who seek something meaningful and rare. Inspired by the beauty of the Keys, every piece in our collection tells a story. Visit us in Old Town Key West or explore the collection at BlueMarlinJewelry.com. Blue Marlin Jewelry, crafted in the Keys, worn around the world.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Jill.
Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, day 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
To fish like the pros, you got to look like the pros. Visit the SFC shop today to represent your favorite angling clubs all year long. Just whip out that phone, click on that QR code, shop.sportfishingchampionship.com. Represent your favorite team, whether you're from Texas, Louisiana, up there in the New England states, Jersey. We got you covered. Those Florida black flags. You too can look like Marty Wilson. Speaking of a Gulf Division and the Gulf Division teams, you look at the standings down at the bottom of the board. Everybody has at least a single fish, but Third Coast Renegades, Peter, still leading this one, but a little bit of a waning day yesterday after doing so well with 4 fish on day one, only 1 on day 2. They opened the door for these other teams.
These, as we watch this, these are tricky conditions, and everybody's doing a little bit something different. And then we've got a catch alert for the Mississippi Blues. Look at that.
Oh, this was actually earlier, but they were trying to hole shot. We thought it was live. But yeah, this is our first catch of the day, and kind of opening the door for these teams. We saw the Blues where they were at. Every fish counts, and if you can't win the event, you want to try and get as close to that winner as you can.
Always be looking, Robbie.
He's taken. Do what?
And with only 1 fish prior to this one.
I love listening in on their convo right now.
He's got to pop it out of the clip. I'm not convinced, but it was weird. The second time I saw it, it almost looked like it had a sail. Huh?
Sitting high.
Because at the end, I felt like I saw almost a bill. Lil John, do you think you saw? I thought
I
it was
saw
weird.
a dorsal. I thought I saw a dorsal.
Those calm days make it really, really nice to be able to spot fish. Sometimes it's just a little splash. Sometimes it's a free jumper going absolutely ballistic, splashing and jumping, full speed, racing after something. You're just trying to get parasites off their body.
100% sure. He saw what could have been a dorsal when he hit. There for the first little bit, we thought it was a king or something playing with it, but it is staying on top right now. So we're going to act like it's a sailfish and see what happens. It's taking pretty good now.
You gotta love it when they're staying on top. When they sink down right away, that's rough. It's generally there it is.
Nice.
Identification,
Wow,
sailfish.
Way out there.
Yeah, watch the kite.
If I see it going down, you want me to start bringing it in?
Is that vegetation I see in the water? I see something dark. It looks like
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to fall over his fish or something, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see.
Yeah, just keep it. Watch that kite. Watch that kite.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's some.
left one. Okay.
I'll do the leader.
If it becomes a problem and it starts tipping, we're gonna get it out. But right now at that speed is fine. You can almost just turn around and go forward again on it. Watch this guy out here. I know. I've been watching him. Get out! Other way!
Get out of the...
There's nothing worse because they can't hear you.
Turn offshore!
Left! Offshore!
So people are supposed to sit on 16, have their radio on 16 for emergencies, and you should be able to call them.
What are you guys doing out here?
They figured it out.
Yeah, they don't want them ripping right
good,
across
he's
the
good
line
now.
because that fish was out there
You
probably
can
at
turn
that
around and go
distance. They were really
forward on him
close.
if you want.
Not too
I think
far.
he's gaining, isn't he?
Yeah,
I'm
there's
gaining,
plenty of room.
I'm
I
gaining.
think they've got plenty of room.
You're fine at this angle, but
You
don't
got to
make
use your
it any
hand
sharper
signals
because then you're
properly.
going to get a little
You have
wrapped,
to do a certain kind of wave. I've learned that. If you just start waving, it looks like you need help when they come over.
Is that
Right
what
where
you're
you
doing?
You start pushing,
Right now,
like
you're
moving
right.
your hands in a pushing direction. That kind
We
of
good with
helps.
that
Or you
kite?
take two
Right
hands
now
and
you
wave
are,
them
yeah.
to one way or the other simultaneously.
When you're
like
telling
you're
me-
waving off something.
When you're telling me you got to give them hand signals, I'm thinking something totally
Yeah, now
different.
you-
I'm thinking you're only using one finger.
I got him.
I
He's right
rarely
there.
I reserve
Now you're
that
here. Let me
for
go to
a
him.
very
Yeah,
serious
that's what I'm saying.
situation.
Yeah, I'm going to go right
when
to him.
I'm
He's right
driving
there.
in New York.
Coming back across.
Straight back.
Oh,
Yep.
That's a beauty. That's a beautiful jump. Got that off the kite. You see that calm weather.
Guys making us work for it
Still
here.
got the kite going, but
Yeah,
when
it's
it
all right.
slicks
We'll take
over,
the early bite,
when
though.
it gets oily out there, as they say, like a
our
mirror
head
or a
in the
lake,
game.
it's very difficult. That's when you have to bump. You have to be in gear, trolling valves, just pushing a little
No,
bit to
you
keep
still got a
it
little
up.
bit.
John Crockard on the rod and reel there with that first catch of the
It's right
day
here.
for all
Leader's
of our
coming right
fleet.
now, boys.
This
Get
is
ready.
35 minutes after the Lions were in the water.
Back up, here it comes. Got that leader. Good, guys.
75 points.
All right, good job. Don't let go of it. All right, perfect.
Let's go. Hey, baby.
Good job, man.
Blues. That's how we start the morning. Day
All right,
three.
before I saw that
Day
bill, I'll
three.
give
Let's
you
get
that.
it going. More to come.
That was like 130. We bumped out a little bit, I think, right? 130, 130.
And just help their chances to move up a little closer. Again, they're only 2 fish out of jumping up to a bunch of points. We're live out on the water with them now. Again, you got to keep your peepers out. You see how calm it is. There's kites up in the air held up by a helium. And if you see a fish tailing, it is time to get hooked up. We're here. It's Key West Classic presented by Salty Dogs. More still ahead.
Welcome to Blue Marlin Jewelry, where island elegance meets handcrafted luxury now in the heart of Key West. Since 1996, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We've been a destination for those who seek something meaningful and rare. Inspired by the beauty of the Keys, every piece in our collection tells a story. Visit us in Old Town Key West or explore the collection at bluemarlinjewelry.com. Blue Marlin Jewelry, crafted in the Keys, worn around the world.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
You can discover heart-racing adventures, breathtaking views, and one-of-a-kind experiences that can only be found through the SFC experiences on Guidesley and Guidesley Pro. Go to Guidesley.com to find your next outdoor experience.
Look at those threadfin herring.
Oh, they look so good. Speaking of Guidesley, let's go down to Key West, Florida. You want to find a good guide? I know a good service that can hook you up like a tow truck. Rudy's with a special guest from Salty Dogs.
Thank you, Robbie. That's right. The Key West Classic is brought to you by Salty Dogs. Speaking of Salty Dogs, I'm with one of the Salty Dogs right now, Jarrett Gross, Chief Marketing Officer. Thank you for joining us. I hear you guys had a meat fish tournament this weekend, the Key West Rodeo. Just finished up yesterday. Tell us about how that went.
It went great. It was our first annual tournament. We were excited to be here in Key West. We were excited you guys joined us for this event. We had 12 boats, caught 28 fish, gave out over $21,000 in prize money. It was an exciting event. We were really glad to be here.
Who were some of those winners that happened to catch into different categories?
Well, we had a 28-pound cobia, I think we had to come in, a 21-pound tuna come in, and a whole bunch of barracudas, even up to a 23-pounder, which is pretty crazy.
If Raheem's out there with Remix right now, I'm sure he'd be shaking in his boots because he hates barracudas when he's out freediving, so having a 21-pounder sounds like a hog.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be a fight out there, right?
Speaking of tunas, you guys said you had one of your members actually out there catching a record tuna last week.
Last week during the Viking Challenge, one of our anglers caught a world record tuna on 20-pound test. So it's pretty cool. I think it was a 34-pounder.
That's nuts being down here for that.
And it was a female angler, so it was great.
This was the first year. You guys are obviously going to get back and do this again next year.
Oh, we're excited. We're excited for next year. We haven't picked the dates yet, but it's going to be right around the same time. Come right back here to Key West, do the same thing, try to get more boats, more excitement, more prize money.
Awesome. Jarrett, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you guys also have charters down here, so if they want to sign up or if they want to come get a charter, buy some merch, I know you guys got swimwear line, all that stuff too. Where can they find you guys?
We are the Salty Dogs, so saltydogs.com is where you can find us right online. We are on Instagram and all the social media platforms. We'd love to have everybody join us.
So, Jarrett, thank you so much. Peter and Robbie, back to the action.
Thank you, sir. Again, I know who to go to now. Again, I get on Guidesley, and he might line me up with Salty Dogs, or I'll just ask Peter to take me down there. Looking at the Atlantic Division, Peter, I think things are going to get really, really interesting. Look how tight it is from first to fourth place. Seabirds with 300, lights out with only 2 fish ahead. I mean, we're going to see some movement before the show's over.
It is a battle. It's a battle. They're really grinding them out. You got to pay attention, and you've just got to try everything. You know, I talked earlier about, getting to those wrecks, to get those groundskeepers. It's important to kind of get to those areas. So, you know, dropping a strip teaser down to the wrecks or down into bait and bringing them back up, it's just like prospecting. So, not a bad thing to try out.
Well, you see the little green marker there. It's showing you who you're looking at. Danny Wise is like, I'm just chilling. See, you know, what's it going on? Or excuse me, Lackey. He's saying, I'm just chilling out there. It's all good. It's all calm. But you know what? Earlier things got a little busy, Peter, and it wasn't just one catch. This would end up being a double. So you go from bottom of the barrel on day one to day two, moving up into 5th place, and now they were near the lead when they made this catch.
Listen to all that noise, those drags. Is that Steve in there in the foreground?
Yes, sir. We saw the guy that was chilling with Stuart Lackey, typically captain. This is his boy, Stuart. We got, what, 4 out of 7 members on this boat are Lackeys. And a small
Stratton Lackey, Steve Lackey, and Stuart Lackey.
In a smaller boat as well than what they're used to, a 44-foot contender. Typically on that, 58-foot Blackwell.
You know, a day like today, to hook a double, we only saw one double the entire tournament, and that was yesterday by lights out. So to see this in these conditions, that's got to feel really good, just creeping up the board.
And you talk about the movement that it can happen really quick and why you got to have other lines out. So while this fish was on, again, this was happening around 12:13 with Steven. He goes to the front of the boat. Something else is going to happen.
He's winding. That was off the kite.
Got it.
75 points. Right there. Perfect.
So that was a qualified catch, so he made it. And then all of a sudden, it starts getting a little crazy. Hey. So I thought it was a double, but it was a back-to-backer for South Carolina cast. Is there Steven again?
You know, to me, that's kind of a double. The fish is in the area. You know, they're milling around.
Yep, drop it down now.
That's what you wanted to happen, though. You know?
Yeah. So the interesting thing here, Robbie. So the thought process. You hear this boat has a double, right? You think, well, they got a double. They got lucky. You know, came in there, nothing to run to. They got their double. What you worry about is the single. Oh, it is a sailfish. They determined that, which is very important. They got that on camera, but you worry about the consistent bite that someone's getting. But if they get double or triple, you don't really run there because it could just be a fluke.
Yeah.
So this, to me, is kind of stealthy in a sense. It's like a double, but it's kind of 1 and 1. So to me, there's fish there.
But we did not see many back-to-backs or doubles this whole tournament. It's been a lot of singles, which is surprising with these species. Sailfish run in flocks, in groups, in pairs, in swarms.
I'm lifting
Squadrons.
it up. We're good. Okay.
And also, when you think about the situation here, you know, you've got kites going, you got spinners going, and it's really important to have a weighted bait down. You know, maybe it's going to be an ounce, it's going to be 2 ounce, 3 ounce rubber core. Get it down below that column. Sometimes the fish don't want to show themselves on the surface. They don't want to come up and eat kite baits. They're down there doing their thing. But you see everybody moving, everybody's working. This is nothing but a team effort. The angler is only good as his team. Unless you're a great angler, Robbie, like you.
Come back. Said no one ever. But this fish is...
Here it comes. They're coming in hot, Robbie. Coming in super hot.
And so important because this puts them in a tie for 2nd place.
I heard them.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right, I'm going to let y'all run it. Oh.
The team that won the first event last year, could they do it again? Come from behind victory.
It's nice to be able to do that on sailfish. He's close. He's close. Cork sliding up and down the line, and probably 10 feet away. There they go.
Wrap it. 75. That gives him 375 total. That was the lead coming into this final day.
Nice work, fellas.
That was the lead coming into this final day. But, I mean, going from 0, will they be the hero, Peter? We still got a lot more fishing, about 2.5 hours left in our tournament here, the first event of the year for SFC.
Nice watch. Citizen?
Yeah, Eco Drive. It's powered by light.
Like any light?
Yep.
Headlights?
Yeah.
Sunlight?
Yeah.
What about city lights?
Definitely.
Subway? Neon? Strobe light?
Those two.
Really?
Yeah.
Disco?
Uh-huh.
Underwater?
Yeah.
This light? Spotlight?
Yeah, any light.
Cool.
Citizen Eco Drive. It is cool. Powered by light for 50 years.
There's yellow.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Phil. Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, date 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
SFC returns to one of the most iconic fishing grounds in North America for the Walker's Cay Open, May 15th to the 17th. Join us Friday and Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern and from noon to 4:30 for extended coverage on Championship Sunday right here on YouTube and ESPN+. We'll be making that move to ESPN here in about 20 minutes' time. Make sure you join us there. But you can see our next tournament will be in Walker's Cay. I believe we're going to have Carl Allen, our host at Walker's Cay, in studio with us here in a minute. I'm curious to see what he has to say and things to look forward to. Love that event. I mean, it is the Augusta of sport fishing.
It really is. It's like an oasis there. You know, when you go into the Bahamas and you come across this area, it's kind of like, how did this all happen? And the fishery is so incredible to be able to catch all kinds of billfish, even grand slams right off the coast there, and then go in the backcountry there and catch bonefish, as many as you want. I mean, that spot has it all.
Let's check in on the Gulf and see how they're doing now. We're hopping around trying to, hopefully, if we get a live catch, we'll bring it to you live. But we've seen some movement today already. You see Marty in that bottom right. He's looking for some movement. He's saying, just come on, show me something. I want to start reeling. Or that bird way out there just peeping in that window on the upper left for the Cowboys.
Oh, man, that's good luck. I like that. You know, those birds need to rest. You give them a cap of water off your water bottle, and they get a little sip there. They sleep for a little while. You can even pet it, and then they'll fly off. You know, a lot of them come from cheetahs. If you believe it, it can happen. And that's what they say. They never surrender, man. They just keep flying. They find a boat, and they land, and it happens quite a bit out there. You see these boats in the Gulf Division, you know, fishing in very, very calm water, so it's a lot of spinner action, and hopefully you got enough helium and you've got some fresh baits to get out there, some smaller baits. Threadfin, sardines, pilchards, cigar minnows. Goggle eyes are a little tough.
Third Coast Renegades on top by one fish over the canyons. We'll see if they can stay that way. We caught up with their captain a moment ago, Drake Sawyer. Let's hear what he had to say.
Man, it's been a tough day. Started out on a good spot, took a long shot, super far east, I believe, and saw a free jumper, tracked it down, got smoked by probably a 200 or 300 pound bluefin, caught some blackfin, got cut off by what we thought were some wahoos, but target species just has not shown up today. The winds died down, but we're able to keep the kites up with some helium. But stomachs and knots, man, it's a grind. We're right in the major feeding period right now, so we're really hoping it lights up, but the lead we got is so thin, and we just need a fish or two. So that's what we're looking for.
It's a great update from the Third Coast Renegades from Garrett. I tell you, he said everything we would have asked.
Yeah.
He said it all, and to have a bluefin, a 300-400 pounder airing out in that glass calm water, that must have been quite a sight. Yeah, but that's still not the fish you want. It's cool and all, and it's amazing to watch, but they really need those sailfish or a blue marlin. It would have been nice to have had a blue marlin greyhounding like that. But
and no, that was not Drake Sawyer. I know that was Garrett. I know I identified him as that, but he's just a day or two older than Drake.
Right. I mean, he's pretty busy. You know, Garrett was down there. He was more available at the time.
Yeah, he's busy. Speaking of busy, who's captaining this boat for this year? The Rising Suns are not even on their boat, but again, now representing the Louisiana Canyon, somebody's got to take charge on this vessel. You see their scores right now in that Gulf Division. Louisiana Canyons have worked their way up into second place. Let's take a look at their catch this morning. This team finished the day yesterday with the final catch of the tournament.
Yes.
Okay, they've identified the sailfish off camera. They all saw it. There it is. Robbie, you know what this tells me? It tells me they saw a free jumper and they cast to it because nothing else is coming in. You see everything is stowed. The hooks are on the handles of the spinners.
So solo focus on this one. One bait, one fish.
Well, they saw the free jumper. They set up on it, pitched a bait, and they got him.
There are a couple of boats off in the distance out there too, so they're around other people.
Yeah, I love Toby. I don't know how those 360 cameras work, but I love that the pole goes away.
Yeah, and they are on the remix too. Borrow a boat for them this week. That would typically be in Remix's fleet. So
this footage is epic. I think everyone needs a 360 cam like this. Come on, that is incredible. And then you got the shot of the fish from the cameraman. Oh boy, we got a little bit of everything going on.
Toby's well versed.
He really is. He's a multi-tool. He's like a Swiss Army knife. So you see her fighting on a really nice spinning rod, perfectly built. You know, the tip. You don't want that rod bending all exactly. So off the tip, you're not going to cast baits off. Those are great casting rods. You want them like seven footers. You know, you could even go a little taller if you want, but you need a little nice soft tip to make the cast.
Adrian Valdez, Eric Johnson,
there you go.
Taylor
Perfect.
Johnson on board. And look, we're getting underwater. We're getting up top 360.
Toby does not play.
That ain't even Toby doing it, is it?
Oh yeah.
I saw him.
Yeah, unless they brought a diver with him.
No. I saw it happen.
Incredible. That is some of the coolest footage I've seen in a long time.
Does he have a headset on talking to Ryan, our director?
No.
I mean, because he was like, "Hey, give me a shot of the rod tip. I need to see some flex."
Wow. So we talk about it, Robbie. What are you going to do? Kites? You're going to look for free jumpers? You're going to fish on the wrecks? You're going to do this?
Well,
damn it.
So, catch or no catch?
I had it right there. Got it. All right, we just released the sailfish. That was a pretty close one, but we got the tip got the leader in the tip of the rod, so that's all that matters. Got the catch, got one on the board for day 3. Let's go.
That is preparation at its finest. If they didn't have that in the GoPro, if they didn't shoot that of the rod, the come through rod, she didn't know it. They didn't know it. She had it. Because those leaders are so light.
Teams have an A.
You barely can see the joining of the lines, which is probably a double uni.
Yeah, the splicing of those lines. 2 ways to have that qualified catch. You can either touch a leader or run that leader up to the eyelet, the tip of the eyelet, and they did the latter. What a thing. I'm sitting there watching this going, hey, are they going to have to take the points away when we see our first challenge? But we may still see that instant replay. Let's look for that rod tip. Let's look. Can you see the leader, Peter? Oh, I see it right there.
Yeah, there it is. Boom, right there.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Split second.
I mean, that was like a little kiss. That was a little baby, little peck on the cheek.
Right there. All the way to the reel up and then back down again. That little bit of difference in the line right at the top of that outrigger there. You can see it.
And
right
if he
there.
didn't have that camera, nobody would have known.
Yeah. And they could have showed it at the end, but that was a great shot. Toby, you might have done it for the team this time. Congratulations to our cameraman out there, Toby Berthelot, and the Louisiana Canyons with our instant replay. Well, we'll step aside for just a bit. The Salty Dogs event here in Key West, the Key West Classic, bringing it to you on this final day underwater. What a fine specimen.
Welcome to Blue Marlin Jewelry, where island elegance meets handcrafted luxury now in the heart of Key West. Since 1996, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We've been a destination for those who seek something meaningful and rare. Inspired by the beauty of the Keys, every piece in our collection tells a story. Visit us in Old Town Key West or explore the collection at BlueMarlinJewelry.com. Blue Marlin Jewelry, crafted in the Keys, worn around the world.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Phil. Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, date 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
The Key West Classic is sponsored by Caribe. Expect the best. No rivals. Papas Pilar. And by Exotic Outdoors. Let's make our move towards the Atlantic once again. How things are shaking out. Bearing down on this third and final day. Lights Out Boston heading into this final day. They're one fish ahead of the Remix and the Outcast as it stands right now. But again, the tiebreaker would be who caught that points-paying fish first. Now let's go to the Lights Out Boston team. Rob Carmichael, about midday today. This is after South Carolina Outcast caught their fish. Somebody called it another one. This time it was Lights Out Boston.
Looks like he's got a conventional there.
What do you mean conventional?
There it is, conventional reel, kite fishing. Kite line, you hear it sinking as they back up. It starts to sink with the helium and any pressure from another bait in the clip. Going back on it, it's all gain, until it's not. And then hopefully it comes right to the boat and it's a quick release.
Lights Out New England, now changed to Lights Out Boston, the Atlantic Division winners last year.
You got Tucker in the foreground, you got Alex in between, and then you got Rob, I believe, on the rod. GoPro right there, ready for identification above and underwater.
Remember, they went back to back to back with victories, taking the Oak Bluffs, the Hook Big Fish Classic, as well as the Mid-Atlantic. So back to back to back in the year.
47 white marlin for them for that tournament. They got tattoos. They got tattoos on their legs, actually.
Yeah, Drew was bringing his hats up on stage going, guys, this was special.
Yeah. Look at that, wind it fast, sailfish perfect. Stay on, get it a tip. There it is. They got the release, and they're going to do an official release now.
So Rob getting in on the mix. We saw Jackie yesterday.
Let's go! Yeah, boys! Woo!
Nice work, Ray. There we go.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Slow day, but we just popped one. We got to stay after it.
Nice work, squad.
Got to keep that momentum up, Peter. You never know when you're going to get into that flurry, and just like they did last year. And what really keyed them into victory, it wasn't like, the New Jersey Seabirds who finished second weren't catching fish. There were days when they were getting hits. They were getting doubles, the Seabirds were. But that meant Lights Out was getting triples.
you know, Robbie, every time I look at these screens, I look at these conditions, and I think back, I have so many memories of fishing in Key West. And it boiled down to the last day. And I remember we talked about it. We said, there's a lot of boats here right now. But guess what? They didn't bring enough bait down. Some of their bait died. And the boats that have the best bait left over, the primos, that would keep one pen for the last day.
The good stuff.
Don't tap into it. And some of the boats that have that will rise to the top because they may not be eating a goggle eye. However, I heard that Jacelin's fish did eat a goggle eye that they casted to the free jumper. So that's what they had. They may be out of sardines. They may be out of anything else. But it looked like a smaller goggle eye. So.
Or goggle eye might have been the bait of choice too, then, right? I mean, could be.
Yeah. Usually when you have a free jumper, typically if you can get in front of them and deploy a bait, they'll generally eat it.
No,
I mean,
not
you could throw a hot dog out there.
Just want a freshie.
Yeah, they need some vibration that gets them lit up. They're jumping, they're kind of grayish, and once they see that bait, they flare up and turn black, and that's when you know they're going to eat.
You see the different techniques, everybody looking around constantly. The captains oftentimes, I mean, they're at the top, looking around, just trying to see some type of tailing fish. And remember, we've got several teams, Peter, that are trolling. They're not thinking about kites. They're trolling. One fish, one blue marlin jumped somebody from last place to first today. They saw blues. We haven't talked about that. We're going to make the move here in just a minute to ESPN, but we talked to Louisiana Canyons even. But I mean, these people are looking for sales, hoping for blues. Let's hear what the Louisiana Canyons had to say a bit ago.
Hey guys, it's the Louisiana Canyons team, Jason and Toby here, and we have just a couple hours left of fishing. I think we said 2 hours of fishing left. It's been a really slow day for everyone. We've only seen like 4 or 5 fish caught, but it's not over till it's over. So we're still in the hunt. We're in second place, really just grinding away.
Yeah, today's a different day from every day we fished here so far. Super calm, super flat, making flying the kites very difficult. So we kind of changed up some strategy. We're just slow trolling some live baits right now, trying to get that bite. So got to see a free jumper earlier and caught it. So now we're only 1 fish behind the leader to tie, but we need 2 to jump them. So we sure could use a double here in the last 2 hours and jump ahead of the leaderboard. Currently sitting in second, but we're not giving up.
You said everything you wanted to hear right there. I mean, and the conditions, what they're looking for, and they know they can double up. They can make a big move at the last second.
And it's kind of what we've been talking about, you know, going over to the keys to success. You know, you've got to employ every tactic for sailfish that you've ever learned.
And just like
all
a Remax,
in one day.
Just like a Remax dealer, they're looking to close the deal. One team will close that deal. 2 teams are going to win this event, one in their respective division. We make the move over towards ESPN here at the top of the hour. Join us there. Petey, let's do this.
Do it.